now.
Yes, you are. You are.
Well, I've only got a postage size square for me. Now that's gone.
Did it do 3, 2, 1?
Yes.
Then you're
I
live
don't know if
right
I'm
now.
live or not.
You are.
So what? Hello everybody. I don't know if I'm live with you or not, as my son has disappeared. So I hope this is with you. I'm trying to expand the video and make because I've just got a postage size picture of me. Never mind, I will battle on and hope this is going to everybody. If not, Nigel, if it's not proper, will you call me? I'm poised by my phone and a bit desperate. Hello everybody, I'm trying to be very, very calm. Anyway, why am I here? Well, I've come to do Facebook Live with you to announce to everyone that I've got a new series of books coming out based on the new series or old series of Trial and Retribution. And there are 6 books, but the first one is out and it's called Trial and Retribution. Funnily enough, I actually read it myself today because I thought I should catch up, you know, so that I could say, well, I do know and do remember what it's about. And it is quite a dark book, and it was quite a dark series actually. And what was amazing in the first series was the introduction of an actor called Rhys Evans, who probably everybody knows about now who he was, because he then went on to star in Notting Hill Gate. And also it starred Helen McCrory, God bless her, and here's to Helen, dear soul. She was a wonderful, wonderful actress. And in Trial and Retribution, she was absolutely stunning. And the other actor in it, very fresh out of drama school, was none other than Jake Wood. Now, Jake Wood then went on from Trial and Retribution into EastEnders, and he was incredibly well known. He grew old in EastEnders, actually, but it was a remarkable series for me because it was doing a new venture, which was the split screens, and you know, pitching an idea to the networks is pretty tough. But when you're going in to pitch a new TV series, had the title, and I said, the thing about this series is it's going to be different because I want to split screens. And there was a look of complete nonplussed, no idea what I was talking about. And I said, what I want to do is split the screen, sometimes in 4, sometimes in 2, sometimes even going further. Because one of the reasons I decided to do this was because I was in the forensic lab and I was watching one of the scientists very, very carefully removing a hair trapped around a button. And it was round, tightly round and round this button. And he was very, very careful with it because it had the bulb at the end, which meant that, you know, when you pull your hair out and you've still got the root for DNA. So what he did was very carefully begin to ease this hair. Didn't want to break it, because also in one length of hair you can actually see drug addiction, you can actually test it for all different kinds of things. But the bulb will give them the DNA. And so I explained this, and there was still a non-thing to say. I said, I can't use the screen for 10 minutes to watch somebody removing the hair from around a button. However, I could continue a scene and have up in the corner the scientists removing that hair until I wanted to use it. The wonderful head of commissioning there was a man called Nick Elliott. And he said, oh, no, I don't see this at all. No, I don't see it. The reason is You know, you might have somebody with a very small TV, and so your split screen is going to be very, very small. I mean, you've got to think back, because now you see people with enormous TV screens. I mean, they're vast. Whereas in those days, hang on, this might be, no, it's breaking news on the phone. I thought it might be Nigel calling to say, you screwed up. Because I still don't know if I'm coming out to you or not. Anyway, I eventually said to him, now look here. Have you ever been to a bingo hall? You can see middle-aged, incredibly elderly people, all shapes, all sizes, playing 8 to 10 bingo cards at the same time. Of course they could deal with a split screen. And he went, you know, I think you're right. So that was the first kind of step forward to begin working on the split. So it also means when you're doing split screen, you have to do a lot more filming. And by that I mean you have to actually film what's going on a split screen as well as what's going on in the major part of the scene. So it did entail a lot of extra filming and a lot of extra cost too. But in the end, it was, to my mind, a remarkable feat of filming and television. And it broke through because a lot of other TV series have also used that split screen that came after Trial and Retribution. Anyway, it was, you know, way back in 1997, all the way up to 2007. Wonderful cast, great detective played by a marvellous actor called David. And he was an astonishing actor because David could measure the cigarette ash. And often when you're getting ready to do a take and you've had somebody smoking, you don't know how long the ash is. He never, ever didn't know. So he would be very careful, because he smoked a lot in the series. Of course now, even that, you know, 1 or 2 cigarettes, but they don't really approve of you smoking in TV series anymore. Well, so be it. But in those days, there was a lot of... And he also had a habit of breaking off the end of his Marlboro cigarette. He brought that to the character. I don't know why, but he did. But he was a marvellous, marvellous actor and really drove the series into, you know, the lengthy series it became. So it's wonderful that they're now coming out in novel form for you to read. And as I said, the first one out, it is dark, and it's also a tragic subject matter of a murder of a child. And after that, I never, ever wanted to do another child murder. I found it actually a very emotional time to go through because we couldn't use one tiny child. We had triplets actually, and they thought it was all a game. Because traumatically, I think, you know, child actors sometimes are very much abused in a way on the screen. Yes, they have all this time and chaperones and education and stuff, but it is a very tense thing. Those little children, when they go, and action, and they've got to remember their lines. So it was a decision I made not to go ahead with any further dramatic and emotional moments with a child. But it did pay off in the first Trial and Retribution. And in the book, I have to say, reading it, I am quite shocked at the length I went to with police procedure. I found later on a lot of it was maybe a little bit too confusing, but I wanted to show how a murder investigation spiraled, how they drew in people, and particularly I wanted unknown actors. You know, I really did, because I do find myself getting really irritated by seeing the same faces, the same actors appearing in everything. You know, one minute they're a killer, the next minute you're looking at them, they're the detective. We have so many wonderful actors and actresses around. Or you can't even say actresses now. Actors! They're everywhere. And brilliant. All ages too. But It's now coming out in audio too, which is lovely. So if you do and are interested in audios of my work, then they're coming out, and wherever you get your audios, it will be out for you to listen to. I quite like listening to them, actually, but I do prefer reading. In fact, last weekend I read the first book I ever wrote, The Legacy. I couldn't put it down. It's a very interesting book because people who know me now and how my career moved into crime, if you read The Legacy, you will find out a lot more about who I am. I found it a very moving novel to read. I was crying at one point at my own writing and laughing. It's full of wonderful, wonderful humour in it. And anyway, I've digressed because it's good to be here again with you. And, you know, I've got a lot coming out and a lot of things I'm going to be doing. But tonight, I have actually had a very big Thanksgiving dinner. Had it early. So I'm also wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving Day if you're American and tuning in to say hello to Linda. So I did have quite a lot of red wine, which is nothing to do with why I only have a postage size stamp that I'm talking to you through, not a full screen, because my son forgot to be here. So anyway, I will continue the Facebook Live as I go along, because I've got lots and lots of questions. I don't want to go on and on about Trial and Retribution too much, because I hope people will want to read the complexity of these plots. And when you really consider, you know, 6-hour series goes into one novel, it's a lot of condensing, so it makes it very, very driven, and the characters just leap off the page, though I say so myself. Rhys Evans has to be seen to be believed in it. We also had, for Trial and Retribution, terrific actress in Kate Buffrey, who was then eventually replaced by Victoria Smurfit. They both played high-ranking female detectives. But I also had Ashley Walsh directing. Wonderful Irish director, brilliant. She's absolutely stunning. And when we were editing together the very first episode, we worked side by side as I said, no, split the screen here. I want to see the shoes walking. I want to see this. I want to see that. And she just never got under stress. But it was a very, very complex method of working. And I give great thanks to her because she was brilliant. Ashley Walsh is her name. Went on to do super movies. Anyway, I've got loads and loads of questions. And I'm going to kick off with, hi Linda, do you have any plans for any films on TV series or in the pipeline? That's Fiona Forsyth from Mrs. M from Pups Facebook. Well, Fiona, I recently read a book which I absolutely adored. And it dealt with Socko, Scene of Crime Officers, very young girl. And I found it so intriguing because that was an area in crime that I hadn't actually delved into deeply enough. And so I bought her book. And we are, fingers crossed, heading towards a commission. But I'll tell you much more about that as soon as I know it's going ahead. But that is in the pipeline, so to speak. I'll have another sip of gin and tonic. Did you say in that there would be more Anna Travis stories? Any news on those? Now, this is from Natalie Brown, Facebook, also asked by Rosemary Church, Jackie Minns, Jennifer Cooley, Elisha Babcock, Jackie Heisted, Raylene, oh, isn't that a lovely name? Raylene McPherson on Facebook. Now, they all want to know, is Anna Travis coming back? Well, I know I've said yes before, and I do absolutely intend to bring her back. In fact, I've got a whole mapped out storyline, but it's like slotting it in between, you know, the Jack Warr novels and the Jane Tennyson, but I have a feeling around 2024 it'll be coming out. So you'll be the first to know, girls. Anna Travis is back. Very shortly, I hope. Anyways, when is the new Jack Warr coming out? Do you ever plan on turning it into a movie? You know, again, I would love to make Jack Warr into a movie, a TV series. It's all down to commissions and plotting and waiting and seeing yes, no. But as the series continues in the novel form, I get more and more excited by the character as he's developing in each novel. So we've got, you know, Buried came out, then Judas Horse, and then the last one I think that's been out and about and really very, very successfully is the third one, which was, oh, now, what was it called? You know something, this is where the mind tickles. I've got a lot of little tickles coming in on my phone and I need to, hang on, this is from Nigel. We've got a power cut. Oh, he can't know if he's got me or not. So I don't know, they've got a power cut. Anyway, Vanished. So you've got Buried, Judas Horse, Vanished, and a very interesting novel, Vanished, that came out. And coming out after that, not quite yet, very shortly, will be Pure Evil. Truthfully, it's one of the darkest books I've written. Bit obsessive it became with me. But that will be out shortly. And I'll obviously do a complete Facebook for when it does come out. And so Evil is coming out in April 2023. You have to wait. Because I've only just really finished editing. So what I'm doing is like, I'm editing Jack Warr, Pure Evil, and at the same time, bing, 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 working away on the new Jane Tennyson. Call me a busy bee. It's no wonder my mind goes, you know. I was interviewed once and asked the title of one of my books. Couldn't remember at all. Absolutely went off the kilter. But, you know, sometimes memory loss for me is because I suppose I'm so productive. And that's why, you know, earlier on when I was saying I was reading Trial and Retribution, it is astonishing, and my own mind astonishes me. It really does. And I think, where do you get this from? My mother used to say that. Where do you get it all from? I don't know. Nightmares. Don't sleep very well. Insomniac. But Trial and Retribution, reading that after so long was quite traumatic. Anyway, I digress. I'm doing the answering questions, aren't I? Would you ever write a Christmas book? I'd love to see Jack Warr in a Santa suit. Now, this is from a lovely person called Sue Johnson of the Readers Club. Oh, you know, I could put him in a Santa suit because I don't want to give away too much of the new Jack Warr, but something is going to happen to him that will change his life. And maybe Santa suit. I don't know. You know something? I really don't know. But it's a nice idea. And I've got another question here. Will you be pouring a G&T with Linda? I'm getting my daughter some gin for Christmas. And is there a brand you'd recommend? Love your books And that's from Christine Lorby on Facebook. Lorby? Yes. Well, Christine, I do like a gin called Mermaid Gin. It's in a very lovely bottle as well. After finishing a couple, I did think about, could I make them into a lamp? I don't know. But anyway, Mermaid Gin. I'm on it now. So let's carry on with the questions and see if we've got anything of incredible excitement coming your ways. Would you ever write your autobiography? That's Lee Richards in Facebook. Well, between you and me and the Gatepost, there are murmurs about doing one. Just murmurs, and I might do one. I don't know. Not long ago I went to see one of my very oldest, dearest friends, who sadly is suffering a little bit from, big time dementia. And it's a horrendous Alzheimer's dementia. My heart bleeds for people and their families that are suddenly launched into this awful time of their lives. But she didn't know who I was, and I said I was her oldest friend. Didn't know who I was at all. But I took a puppet, a dog, to make her laugh, puppet, and I took some roses and some popcorn and chocolates. She loved the popcorn, but had no idea who I was. And I didn't stay too long because I read somewhere that it's very distressing for sufferers when somebody says, I'm your best friend, and they don't know who you are. And so you can say, I'm Linda, I'm Joe, and but it just distresses them. The best is just to be loving to them and smile and make them laugh. But anyway, just as I was leaving, I had the door open. She said, I used to know Linda LaPlante, and she was very slender. So I left. I thought, well, does this Linda LaPlante look like a pudding? I don't know. I found it rather touching, actually. I found so many people in there very touching. I love these choirs that are being formed for people suffering from various degrees of dementia. And as soon as they're singing, up comes the happiness. You can see them. They're happy. They're singing. The tunes, they remember the music. It's an extraordinary thing that happens. Anyways, now, loving all your books. I'm in a hospital after having a liver transplant, and your books are keeping me sane. Thank you, and carry on the good work. That's from Stella Baldcock. Oh, Stella, I'm so sorry for you. And I hope and pray that your liver gets perfect and you can come out of hospital for Christmas. I'm really sending you very speedy recovery. And I'm really glad you're enjoying my books. And also, Stella, start the legacy, because it's a good long book and will help you recover, because you do laugh a lot in it. And in reality, to everybody, excuse me, to everybody with me today, God bless you all, really, because times are very tough. Turning the lights off, my central heating, I don't know how I do the dial. I've had the plumbers in and out like dingbats. And, the other thing is they say 8 to 12 o'clock we'll be there. So you hover around waiting 8 to 12, no plumber arrives. Then at about 4 o'clock you get a call, van's broken down. I've had more workmen's vans breaking down in the last 4 weeks when all I want is my plumbing sorted. And eventually I get a guy and I say, look, what I want is, because of the pressure of the gas bills, could the heating come on at 6 and off at 10? Maybe a gap in the middle of the day. He said, well, all right. So he twiddled the knob, and I said, well, what did you do? He said, well, that's the day, that's the moon, that's the sun. You've got to check that time. and it's 1850 there, and you want over my head. So now, what am I having now? Midnight roasting. On comes the heating, full blast in every room. So I run round, turning it down, and then in the morning, freezing cold, it's not on. So I am still waiting for the phantom plumber to arrive. I have been waiting for more phantom workmen to arrive in the past month than I have my entire life. And they've all got these excuses, and they all say, and they all seem to have these very light-voiced secretaries. Hello, I'm ringing from the Plumbing Incorporated. They will be with you, just checking the time. They will be with you between 8:30 and 4 o'clock. And do you have parking facility? I go, yes, I will be in, poised, waiting. Never hear from them. Next day or the day after, I'm sorry, there was a problem. One of the work actually took a lot longer than they expected. This goes on. I mean, I don't know what to do. Learn how to do the dials, Linda. That's what you've got to do. I know. But I hope you've all been able to actually see me tonight, because I had to fiddle and doodle this by myself, and I'm talking to a postage size heads of me rather than a big screen, so I don't know what you're seeing. Probably half a head. I have a very nice jacket on, actually. This belonged to Amanda Burton in my TV series The Commander. These actresses, you know, they do get very nice clothes, and they can buy them at 70% off at the end of the shoot, and she left a lot behind. So this was worn by Amanda Burton. It's a little bit loose on the top, but I think it's quite Christmassy if you could see the whole caboodle, but you can't. So I suppose I've done what I'm supposed to have done tonight, and that is warn you all about Trial and Retribution, novel and audio, and that they will be coming out one after the other. All 5 series are coming out, but get the first one, read it. It's hard to say particularly enjoy, but I think you will see the depth of the book, and also you will see how I have developed various areas in future crime novels. It's a very, very detailed police procedure, and you can see the research in it too. Well, that's not a very good thing to say, is it, really, the research? You can't see it. It's there, and it's very, very good. I always have brilliant people. I'm going to just toast Cass Sutherland, my amazing left hand. He reads everything. Was a high-ranking police officer with the Met. Nothing bypasses him without him giving the okay. So here's to Cass Sutherland. And I'm sorry Nigel has got a blackout, but never mind. I'm just going to toast you all, and I will be, I think, seeing you before Christmas, I hope. This time on a large screen for me to be able to feel more comfortable instead of a very small postage size. And I hope you're enjoying talking to me, listening to me, or shouting at me. So good health to you all. I love you all, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being such great positive fans of mine, because without you, I mean, I'd give up, really. I would give up. So lastly, let us all toast Sue and her liver. Let's hope it's a good one. As she downs the gin. Never mind. Bye-bye, everybody. God bless you all. Bye-bye.